Welcome to Learn to Meditate with Annemarie. This is part 3 of my series on coping with change using your inner power. So today I'm going to be drawing our third power for us to practice, which is based on my book, Will to Wonder, Principles on the Loss and Recovery of Power, which is based on our teachings as Brahma Kumaris. So there's 21 different powers in my book that I share with you. Of course, we have many, many more, but these were the ones that I found when I wrote the book that helped me to practice and strengthen them within our lives. So let's see which one we're going to practice today. Power to cooperate. Interesting. Out of the 21 powers, there are 8 powers that we know as the 8 master powers of Raja Yoga meditation, which is what we practice as Brahma Kumaris. So this is our third master power that I've pulled. So it's quite interesting that they're coming up first. And it's quite fitting with our last 2 powers, our first 2 powers. So the first one was power to adjust, and the second one was power to pack up. So I hope you did well with those. I hope you got some benefit in understanding that your strength in responding to life when using this inner power, this inner strength within us. So let's see what power to cooperate says. So power to cooperate is the ability to work in harmony with myself and with others. It is to understand that all fingers are separate, yet they don't compete or bring each other down, but work together towards mutual benefit. To cooperate means to truly see each other, our unique qualities and gifts, no matter how small. I am one finger. I cooperate with others, and together we can move a mountain. So the supporting virtues that help us strengthen our power to cooperate, and there are many, but these ones are the ones that I find really help me with my cooperation. Enthusiasm, contentment, tolerance, honesty, flexibility, self-respect, easygoingness and cheerfulness. So, power to cooperate. Let's start with a meditation on our power to cooperate. Let's start with a bit of a self-reflection, self-inquiry. So sitting nice and comfortably now. Just give yourself permission to get as comfortable as you need to, so that your body can relax and that your mind can become calm and open to new possibilities, to new ways of seeing the world. So starting with your breath now, just focusing on your breath to help you relax even more, to go deeper within yourself. And to bring yourself to the present moment. And to give yourself permission to just be here, right now. So as you're sitting quietly and turned inward into your own inner space, your inner peaceful place, let's just start with that breathing. And I want you to see if you can notice the space between each breath, the silence between each breath. Just want you to focus on that silence between each breath for just a little while, as a means to slow down your thought processes, as a means to calm down your emotions, as a means to reset yourself and recharge yourself, and to check that you are really being honest with yourself. So as you sit there comfortably and quietly, turned inward, away from external noise and distractions, ask yourself, what do I know about cooperation? How do I know when I am truly cooperating? And how do I know when I am compelled to please others? How would that feel in my body? And do I have the power to turn that around? If not, what am I doing about it to turn that around? Am I giving myself permission to strengthen my inner power to help me turn that around? Or am I remaining stuck in a victim space where I keep behaving against my own will in a way that I think others will expect from me? Or maybe that I even expect from myself. That's not cooperation. That's compromise. So always be gentle with yourself as you work on this self-inquiry, and as you get to know yourself a little bit better, and as you recognize some of those weak areas in your life that may need to be released, and as you recognize some of your inner strengths that you need courage and support to apply them in your life. So be your own support and give yourself permission to regularly turn inward and ask yourself these questions. What do I really know about cooperation? When do I stop cooperating and start compromising my own value? Let me be honest so that I can help not only myself, but so that I can also stop strengthening and reinforcing those behaviors in others. Giving myself permission to sit in silence with the things that I need to change within myself gives me many opportunities in life to move forward. I know my weaknesses, and I know my strengths. Focusing and paying attention only to my strengths. To keep moving forward. So ask yourself, how can I handle the situations differently next time? If I catch myself, when I catch myself starting to compromise my own value in a situation, firstly, let me pull myself up, apply the brakes with gentleness and with love. Let me take a breath. Let me pat myself on the back for recognizing it. That is the checking part. And let me now show courage by letting it go, by wiping the slate clean, and by getting on with what is right. It's no use to sit in sorrow with what we've done wrong. No use regretting. Instead, let me learn from the mistake or from the situation. And let me focus on doing better next time. So take a breath and pat yourself on the back for having the courage and willingness to turn inward and connect with yourself. Om Shanti. So the power to cooperate. Very interesting. It goes, as I said earlier, it works really well with our power to adjust and our power to pack up, because firstly we need to understand, often when I ask the question in groups or in retreats or workshops or classes, when I ask the question, what does cooperation mean to you? Or what do you hear when I say the word cooperate? Often what comes up for people is compromise. So when I compromise my own values, my own worth in the process of pleasing someone else, whether it's because that's what they expect from me or whether it's because I think that that's what they expect from me, I'm actually compromising myself, not cooperating. Because not only am I feeding my own compulsion, I'm reinforcing someone else's contribution to it as well. So if someone else needs to make some changes within themselves, we all have to make some changes within ourselves. But if I don't give them the space by me being honest with me, I'm not allowing them to be honest with them. So that's not cooperation. Okay? The more I carry this compulsion of needing to please others or rescue others, save others, the more I'm compromising myself and the more I'm actually forcing my opinion on someone else. Just because I'm ready to change doesn't mean others are. So cooperation doesn't mean to force someone else to change as well, just because I've started seeing the benefit in it. The cooperation there means for me to not react to other people's weaknesses, but to recognize them and to recognize my own triggers accordingly, and to be able to change myself before I react. That's when I'm cooperating. So to give myself permission to regularly stop, so it goes back to the traffic control that I spoke about in the power to pack up, to regularly stop and to apply the brake and to look up. That's our responsibility. to look up and to breathe and to connect with ourselves, with divine, with universe, with nature. We need to connect, because in a world where we are the most connected through the internet, we are the most disconnected within ourselves. So when I'm disconnected within myself, I can't cooperate with others, because I'm having this inner tug of war. So I'm really not cooperating with my own inner strengths. So it's not about pushing away our weaknesses or denying them. No, the opposite. It's about recognizing them and acknowledging them, but to not feed them and to not justify them and to not rationalize them when I go back into an old, excuse me, weak behavior. It's about the honesty of checking, oh, there it is. Let me apply the brake. Let me change it here and now. This is where I have the power. Not 10 minutes down the track, not 10 minutes ago. This is where I have the power to make that change. So if I have that recognition here, this is where I need to apply the brake. Power to adjust, power to pack up. Take a breath and let it go. That's cooperation. The more I hang on to stuff, my own stuff, the more I hang on to stuff on behalf of others, because we hang on to stuff, we justify anger on behalf of someone else, and that's not cooperation. That's feeding our insecurities, our weaknesses. And the more we feed our own weaknesses and rationalizations, the more we will make excuses for others, the more we will deny and ignore our own strengths. That's compromise. So if I'm compromising myself on that internal level, I'm going to compromise myself on many levels externally as well. Okay, and it's very easy then to contribute to toxic relationships and to keep feeding those relationships. I deal with a lot of families, and often I find, and this isn't a judgment, this is about recognizing what we need to do as individuals to step back. And with families, it's one of the hardest things to do. But often what happens is the family environment becomes so toxic that no one has the courage to speak out with love. So everyone just keeps playing the game. And we can convince ourselves that we're cooperating, but we're really compromising. We're compromising ourselves, we're compromising others. It takes courage. Sometimes often people won't like it if you speak the truth. So the key is to speak the truth with love and then letting go of how they're going to react. Providing my intentions come from the right space, not from a rescuer space. I want to save someone else. I know what is going to be best for them. No, it comes from a space of healing myself and healing the world. So it's about looking at the higher good for all concerned, not just my need to please or my need to rescue or my need to be needed. That's not cooperation. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Cooperation is about staying present. So this is why I need to use my power to adjust. Can you see or start seeing how these work together? And the more I recognize that I have these amazing powers, so then when I'm trying to cooperate and I'm struggling a little bit, I can use my power to adjust myself around certain situations without compromising my own value, my own worth. And if I'm struggling or finding it a bit difficult to cooperate, not everyone is easy to deal with. Some people can be very challenging. But I still need to recognize my triggers. So if all I can do is work on my own triggers and not react, I'm cooperating. because I'm not feeding that situation. I'm not strengthening that situation by reacting. Instead, I'm pulling myself up. I'm recognizing what's going on. I'm recognizing the triggers of my own weaknesses rising up. And I'm taking a breath and I'm going, yep, you're there, but I'm not going to feed you by putting you into action. I'm going to breathe and I'm going to let you go. And then I'm going to focus on one of my strengths. So to cooperate means I need to be flexible. I need to be accepting. I need to be honest. So then I can move forward with confidence. I can move forward with love. I can move forward with gentleness and openness to receive as well as to keep giving. Otherwise, we start getting stingy and we start with our love and we start resenting what we give because underneath we're looking for some kind of return. I know when I'm truly cooperating, I'm not seeking any kind of validation. I'm just giving because I have a full cup. This is why I need to remain content, our power to be content. I need to keep filling myself up with my inner strengths, with my courage, with my determination, with my enthusiasm, with my contentment, so that I don't fill myself up with the weaknesses, the anger, the fear, the insecurities, the blame, the shame, the expectation, the disappointment. If I fill myself up with that, how am I going to fill myself up with my strengths, my virtues? It's not going to happen. Or it can happen, but very, very slow and a very, very painfully slow process. So I hope that helped you a little bit, because recognizing that our responsibility is really not to others. It's recognizing and working with my own strengths and weaknesses, connecting. So then these relationships, these responsibilities will automatically work itself out. But if I get caught in this, then I'm not going to be cooperating, because I'm going to compromise, I'm going to resent it, I'm going to get angry, I'm going to want something back. And off we go again, it becomes give and take. In the world today, relationships are all about give and take, and that is normal these days. When you think about it, love, unconditional love, has no strings. There's no attachment. So if I'm genuinely coming from a space of love, then I give without seeking validation, without seeking a thank you, without wanting some kind of return, some kind of approval from others that I did good and do it again, sort of thing. So I hope that helps, because especially in the world with everything that's going on today, cooperation is about remaining light. So again, our power to pack up, our power to adapt, our power to adjust. The more I learn to adapt, excuse me, and if you look at one of the main characteristics of a human being, one of the main characteristics is adaptability. So as a soul, we have the ability to use our physical vehicle to adapt to situations. But because we've become so attached to this physical vehicle and these senses of the body, I forget that I am the soul, the power that within this body. I am the soul that drives the body. So that's where I have the ability to pull myself back a little bit. Okay, to not cut myself off, but to just step back and just observe. That's our strength, that's our power. So then with practice, I will learn how to respond as opposed to react. So cooperation means, don't feel bad if we all have something to bring forward to the table. Don't ever think that you don't. So and don't ever think that others that bring stuff forward to the table are not as good as yours. Okay? Everyone has strengths. So if we can focus on each other's strengths, focus on my own strengths, bring my own strengths forward, that encourages other people. It gives them courage to bring their strengths forward. People are afraid because we get knocked down. So let's cooperate and let's bring that beautiful music, let's bring that orchestra to the well. And again, starting with a few breaths. The breath work just helps you slow down and it gives you a reference point that you can go back to again and again if you feel that you start getting distracted or picking up pace or getting upset. So using your breath, I want you to turn on your imagination now. And I want you to see yourself seated in a huge orchestra, ready to play in front of an audience of thousands of people. And though you feel nervous, you can feel the butterflies in your stomach. You also know that you've practiced and practiced and practiced. And you know your part in this piece of music very, very well. You know when to start your part and you know when to finish. And it doesn't matter whether you're playing a guitar, whether you're using your voice, whether you're using a big conga drum or a violin or a harp. Maybe you're playing a flute. Whatever instrument, pick it up now and use your breath to calm those nerves in front of that large, adoring audience. And you're waiting for the cue from the conductor. And as you take a breath, I want you to gently look around you and take in that scenery of all your co-musicians, all here for the same purpose. No one competing, no one comparing. Each one focused on bringing their best foot forward. Each one focused on calming their nerves. Each one focused on how their part is going to sound, and it is going to sound awesome. No time for fears, no time for insecurities. And as the conductor lifts his arm, the music starts. And you play your part beautifully, elevating the whole audience to another level. The audience is transported somewhere surreal simply by all of us cooperating together, leaving any weaknesses behind, and only working with our strengths. So beautiful, so soothing, successful. So use this scene in your mind, take that scene with you. Whenever you feel that you struggle with cooperation, bring that orchestra to your mind and see yourself playing beautifully. See yourself taking a breath and calming your nerves prior to the start of the music. And see yourself finishing successfully with a big smile on your face and a breath of relief. Use that reference whenever you struggle with cooperation, when you struggle seeing others not cooperate. That doesn't give you license to behave the same. So use this scene in your mind and be successful in all your interactions. Be the orchestra in your own life. Om Shanti.